Hi everybody, welcome back, and on part 2 I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to go from one scene to the next. So here are my two scenes just to refresh you, and what I want is I want to create something that Stencyl calls a region, and the region is basically a zone that when the character enters it or exits it, something happens. So the way you make a region is over here on the left. You're going to come over here to this little blue box. Now there is a known bug in the current version of Stencyl, and there is a fix, but I have to update the lab to fix that bug, and I will do that next week. It just takes some time. So the way you get around the bug is you come over here to the blue region box. You're going to then right mouse click, and you'll see that there are different shapes of regions. We're going to choose the polygon, and that's the only one that works right now to my knowledge. So I'm going to left click on polygon. The screen is going to go a little bit dim, showing you that you are now working with regions. And now I'm going to, over here on the right hand side, I'm going to left click once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times. So I'm going to make a complete shape. I'm going to make a closed shape. Now don't worry if you make something like a triangle or like a trapezoid or something like that, although you really can't go wrong with a box or a rectangle. If you need to move your region, you can click and just drag it around and move it like anything else in Stencyl. If you need to delete it, you just select it and you hit delete. Okay, so again, I'm going to go ahead and just make a shape here. You don't want to get too crazy with your polygons. Okay, so there we go. So there's my region. I notice that you can't work with anything else. You can't work with any of the tiles or actors, and that's because up here at the top you'll see that you have working mode, and right now you're in working only with regions, and that's why this is clicked. If I want to go back to work with tiles and actors, I have to click on the first one here to work with them, and now you can see that I can work with them. But now the region disappears. You can't even see it or select it. You have to go back to this one here to work with regions. So just know that that's what happens. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to actually make the transition from the first scene to the second scene. So I'm going to come here on my level 1. I'm going to go and I'm going to give my level a behavior. Actors typically have all of the behaviors, but in some cases you want to give your level a behavior. So I'm going to go to my level behavior, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to come to this category here called game behaviors, and you'll see a couple different ones here that say that they would switch scenes, but this is the one you want: switch scene on enter region. And so that means that when an actor physically comes into the region, contacts it, they will then switch scenes. So I'm going to say choose. I'm going to choose my actor, choose the region. Now you see that I only have one region. However, you could add in multiple regions. I don't think there's a limit as to how many regions you have, but you have to hook them all up. And then you could have a region down here that when the character touches the spike, they then go to a danger world or something like that. It could be a ladder that you put down here, and when the character touches it, they then go to an underground scene or an above ground scene up in the clouds or something like that. So you can really do some very fun creative stuff here. Alright, it says I'm going to choose the scene that it's going to go to. That's level 2. And down here at the bottom, the only thing I want you to change is the transition style. So that is the little visual effect of what is it going to do to get to the next scene. So I'm going to choose bubbles, and this is the transition time. So this is the half second out and half second in. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit longer. I'm going to make it 1 second. So it's going to be a total of a 2-second transition. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Okay, I'll go back here to my scene button. And I'm going to pause the recording so you don't have to watch it, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so we're back, and I'm going to go ahead and just Okay, so there we go. So that was a 2-second transition to get for the scene, so yay, everything works. If it doesn't work for you the first time, the very first thing you should do is not panic. Don't assume that there's something wrong with the behavior or your settings. The first thing you should do is come back to your tabs, close your scene tabs, go back to your dashboard, scenes, and double click and reopen them up. And what that does is it forces Stencyl to refresh them and re-look at them again and see what kinds of changes took place. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do for this tutorial is I'm going to go ahead and make it the player doesn't really know that over here there's a region. So if they come over here on the side and then they all of a sudden just disappear, that's going to surprise them and they're not going to enjoy that. So we need to inform them that there's something over here. There's a goal object. So I'm going to go to Stencyl Forge and I'm going to go ahead and find a key. So I'm going to type in key and I'm going to keep scrolling a little bit here. Okay. I know that I want to search actors and search key, and I happen to know for a fact that there's a, not that one, I happen to know for a fact that there's another key here. Of course this doesn't work when I'm recording. There we are. So I'm going to use this one here. It's a good old key here. It's a classic. I'll download it. I don't need to edit its tab. Go back to level 1, actors, and there's my key. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I place it right there. I'm going to check my regions and just make sure that there, so the key is there, the region, they're on top of each other. Maybe I'll move the region a little bit to the right, and there we go. Okay, so now it's all set up, and now my character should do that. I'm going to take care of one more thing, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of these spikes here. And I'm going to make a little pit for my character to fall in and die. Right now, if my character falls in these little pits, nothing will happen. I might be able to jump out or I might get stuck, but either way, it's not going to restart the scene. The other thing is that my character can also go off screen and never gets to come back, and then that's a problem as well. So I'm going to go ahead and prevent that. So to stop your character from going off screen, I'm going to go open up my Actor tab. I'm going to go to Behaviors, and I'm going to go to Add Behavior in the bottom left corner. I'm going to go to the Motion category, and I've got two here that could work. I actually want, excuse me, I actually want cannot exit scene. In class, I believe I told you guys cannot exit screen. And if the character isn't allowed to exit the screen, then they can't die. They can't fall off of a pit. They can't fall into a pit. We want them to exit the screen, or the scene. And so you can see here it says it allows them to leave the screen, but they cannot leave the scene. And so they can go off screen and they can go away from the camera, but they can't actually leave the scene. And so I hope that makes sense. So just know that that's the one you want. Okay. In addition to this, we need to add a behavior, and we want here in the all category, we want this one here, die in pit and reload. And that should make it so that when the character falls into that little pit there, the game does restart. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to pause and show you what this looks like. Okay, so here I am back in game, and I'll go ahead and just go to the second level. There we go. So it transitions, I have gravity, all that kind of good stuff. I have no way of getting back to the first level, so you might have to work that out. I'll go ahead now and show you how to see if the dying works. Let me also see if I can So there we go. My character cannot leave the scene, so I'm trapped in here. That's a good thing. And let's see what happens if I fall down. Okay, so the character is not working there, so the die-in pit is not really working. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can make the pit a little bit bigger, more substantial. If this doesn't work, the first thing you should do is try to close the tabs and force a refresh. There we go. Okay, so that didn't work. Again, before you think that it's something due to the code or anything like that, always try a refresh. Okay, now if this doesn't work, okay, so it clearly didn't work. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I'll try to figure that out and talk to you about it in class. It's not the end of the world right now, but as it is right now, you have no way of making it work. I'm not really sure why it's not working. If it works for you, awesome. Let me know in class, and hopefully we'll see what's going on there. There's nothing to configure, so I don't know. Maybe what you could do is you could save your game, you could close Stencyl, and sometimes just quitting Stencyl and reopening it up. That's the ultimate refresh. So you can give that a shot. If that works for you, then great. Now you have a way for your character to die and lose the game and then basically restart. And it's a very easy way when it works. So I hope this works for you. I hope you guys come up with some good creative stuff with some very easy tools. And good luck and have fun.